I had this one dream where he was galloping on this horse towards me, and I was like, slow down, you're gonna hit me. And he couldn't see me, and then he ran through me. And I didn't know if I was the dead one, like I was the ghost, or if he was the ghost and I was imagining him. Try to press start again on the...
This fucking better be recording.
It's recording. Lights, camera, action. Can't believe I'm making this fucking film. This is so crazy. Don't you think this is crazy?
So describe the scene.
The scene. Berkeley, California. It's quite the place. 3 of the 5 of us, my siblings, were born there. And there are a lot of Jews. Orthodox, modern Orthodox, hippie, West Coaster Jews. And it's a sweet community, very close-knit. There's like a few Jewish schools that everyone goes to. It's a lot of like farming and shared Shabbat tables and warmth, and people show up with soup if you're sick. That sort of vibe.
May he who blessed our mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, Miriam the prophetess, Abigail, and Queen Esther, bless this pleasing daughter, and her name shall be Nava, Rose, Tiferet, Sequoia.
Good, Michale. I will sprinkle pure water upon you, and you shall be made pure, and I will give you a new heart and a new spirit.
Nava is a word that is found in Shir HaShirim, in the first chapter. Shchora ani v'nava. I am dark but beautiful.
How does that work?
And it's a video camera.
You said nobody can be in there. Hey, Swan! Locate yourself in this video camera.
Where's the sky?
Each of us has a name, given by God and given by our parents.
Each of us has a name given by our stature and our smile, and given by what we wear. Each of us has a name given by the mountains, given by our walls.
Turn this on.
Each of us has a name given by the stars, and given by our neighbors.
Each of us has a name,
Given by our sins,
and given by our longing. Each of us has a name,
given by our enemies, and given by our love.
each of us has a name, given by the seasons, and given by our blindness.
Each of us has a name given by the sea and given by our death.
Every person born into this world represents something new.
something? Are you the mom?
I think we choose people that heal us. I think we choose friendships and lovers that make us feel more whole. Of course it's about them, but we're on our individual journey in life, and the role that Yonim served in my life is a deep, deep healer. And though our parents were in a community together at the start of my life, I hadn't really known of them. But 19 years later, I met him as a total stranger as counselors at this really cool Jewish farm camp in Northern California. And I fell in love for the first time. The partners that I had had earlier weren't great, and my parents' marriage, I think, was seemingly lacking some love. So when Yonim and I got together, it took me by surprise how easy it was. Sort of pure and very silly and fun. And also deeply, deeply healing to be just entangled with someone who really cared about me and wanted to know me. He would like pet me, like frequently. Just really loved on me. You know, as counselors, you're kind of playing adults, but you're really kids. So that was fun because we got to be kids with the kids and then also go off on our own at night and be very silly and childlike. We would host this song circle with our kiddos, and we'd run down the hall and bang on the doors and be like, "Yalla, like we're hosting a song circle," and the kids would come in yelling and being rowdy and have a seat, and Yonim would have his mandolin. I would have my guitar. And we would just jam out. We would jam out. He had a beautiful voice. And we would sing, you know, the kids would request pop hits, and then Yonim would play like Grateful Dead and Leonard Cohen. Sometimes we would read our own poetry. So one night, this camper, Ori, comes out into the hallway, very teary-eyed and homesick, and says, "You know, I really miss my mom." And he's crying. And I offer him a hug, and he sits down, like nestled between Yonim and I, puts his head on my shoulder, and Yonim starts rubbing his back. I just remember looking up at him in adoration of just his gentleness. A few minutes in, Ori looks up at us, and he's like, "Well, are you guys sad?" Yonim was like, "I'm sad sometimes, Ori, yeah, I get sad." And I chimed in and said, "And you know, sometimes I miss my mom too." We just sat there for a while coloring until Ori felt ready to go back to bed. I would lay on his lap and we would read together, or you know, journal side by side, or nap. He was just sweet and also patient and slow and curious. Looking for your mind in my face, He really cared about me being a diabetic. No one ever cares about me being a diabetic. He was checking on my blood sugar all the time, and he always had snacks in his bag. I hadn't had that before in a partner. We were in this storage closet because it was midnight and we had snuck out of the bunk, and we're sitting on the hard, like concrete storage closet floor. I was like, "Do you want to go to Berlin with me?" And he grabbed my face and like looked me in my eyes and smiled really big and was like, "That is the best idea ever." We were gone for 2 weeks, and he was like annoying sometimes and totally frustrating. At one point we missed our flight, and there was this $100 late fee. He sat down on one of the little airport chairs, and he just took out his mandolin and starts playing. He's like, "Let's busk. We'll make it. We'll make the $100. And so we did. I think we made like $20. That was just his style, is like making the magic and the music happen.
when I pray with you. In the motion of our scars, I heard that you pray too.
I think a lot of grief is navigating the evaporation of love. You don't get their love, and you don't know where to place your own love for them.
Like, you kind of go back and you're like, you just look at every tiny little decision point and you just wonder, you know, would it have made a difference if we camped somewhere else? Like, would it have made it, like, I don't know, every little thing. I remember on the trail, there were these two people hiking out with goats with like saddle packs on. And Yonim was so into goats, you know. So we set up our camps and pulled together dinner, and I made dehydrated beans and I put too much water in them, so it was like wet and runny. And Yonim and I were both gluten-free, so we had these kind of like not so easy to work with tortillas. And I just remember handing him a tortilla, both of us in this like mess of tortillas with like beans kind of running down our hands. And I remember him saying thank you. I remember him thanking me.
The next morning, I was up early. We were eating oatmeal. It was like really gross camping oatmeal. It's actually significant to the story. I was like, I'm not eating the rest of this since I left on the side, and I figured he would want to eat it. Which is interesting because he actually was specific about his like food taste and like loved to make things like special and interesting and like to create like the perfect bite that had like the most like, you know, like very
juiciest, crunchiest.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Like to design the whole plate so it was like an art piece.
Yes.
To eat with his hands so he could like fully experience like eating. But then like also he would just like eat shit.
Yeah.
He was in his own zone, which is like, we're all glad that he had those moments of prayer. And also, there were so many moments like that in his life that were actually just really deeply frustrating because he was not in tune with his surroundings and like unaware of like the people's needs. Just like time in general. So once he finished praying, he ate my oatmeal. I feel kind of guilty about that actually. I feel like it was like heavy. Like I imagine that like weighing him down in the water. Like making his body really physically heavy. It's really hard for me to eat oatmeal now. Obviously there's a lot of factors that were like creating his death that was not the oatmeal and like
just a few. Cause of death oatmeal?
I really get it though. I think it's just a way of proving like everyone will always blame themselves for something like this. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, or what the cause of death is. It's just like, we will find a way of blaming ourselves because that makes us feel like we have control. And then I hear like a cheering, like clapping their hands. It's like, because Yonim went in the water so he could get out a plastic cup that was in the lake. And he had gotten to the cup, which is why they were clapping. The water is really, really cold. There's snow melt on the other side of the mountain. It's just freezing water. And I remember feeling frustrated that, like, I went in the water this morning, like, no one was clapping for me. Like, he's not that special. He wasn't making it to the other side.
And then I kept saying, a righteous soul never dies. And I knew that he had a righteous soul.
I watched Yonim like in the water, but just like the motionlessness, like he wasn't able to move and his head was like trying to stay above the water.
I was trying so hard to pray for him to be okay, and I could just feel inside of me that he wasn't going to make it.
And then he went under. My dad went in, my cousin went in, my uncle went in, and I saw all three of them like take turns diving under, trying to get him. All for like 5 minutes.
Na 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 na.
I want to be able to go back into those moments of his death and just offer him love, like a lot of love and acceptance. I don't really go back into those memories so much anymore. When I do, I want to be with him by the lake, be with him in the hospital, and just be like, I love you. You are going on this journey that's out of life. I'm here with you. Like, offer him a graceful transition.
I couldn't even look. I couldn't see him like that. Trying to be a mom and not knowing how, and trying to be there. I could barely be there for my kids.
I remember like really wanting to pray, wanting to feel like my words or my prayer can do something, but then nothing coming. Like there was nothing, really. And there was no one, there was no God, there was like nothing spiritual about this. It was just like me and the trees. I wanted to like scream at them kind of for just being bystanders. Like there's this anger.
It's a lot of trauma. It's a lot of trauma. It's really a very ugly experience.
My dad gets the call that says that Yonim died. Getting to the parking lot and just screaming. Like from the throat, like a full body scream of just like everything coming out.
Things just don't get very logical in that moment, you know? As if there was something to be done, you know? He's like, what should I tell them? Should I tell them to do something else? Should I, like, he couldn't register, like, dead actually means dead. Like, there's not another thing to do because dead is dead.
My brother died. In such a quick moment for him to like go from being alive to not. It's just like, there's no way of processing that. Well, it just felt like this nightmare. You just forget and then like you remember, and it's like remembering it for the first time. Like this disgust of and confusion and this fear of kind of going to sleep, this fear of letting yourself space out and having it come back to you. And I remember thinking that like all the things in my life were going to be done, like our problems in our marriage are going to be over and like I won't be head of school anymore. As if like all the status quo was just going to be gone, you know? Like carrying his backpack in the seat next to me, like where he was sitting on the drive to backpacking, being in this drive without him, just like with his stuff, like his shoes and like these like physical things that he needed the day before that was like attached to his being alive. This like misbelonging of like objects without their owner. We went to the hospital, just like my mom and brothers didn't want to go in and see his body, but me and my dad did. I think there was a part of me that just like wanted a kind of closure in my mind of like, here's this image so that like, you will know that he's dead. To just like be there in that room with him. Yeah, I touched his hair, his eyebrows. And I sang. Witnessing him in the most like passive, still, unalive state. And it was like so him still. Like he didn't look dead to me. Like he was cold, but he still looked like Yonim.
Starting a new journal, new journey, It's your journal that someone gave you, maybe Shiraz, if I remember right. The two youngest have started journaling, and I'm realizing that it is time. Time to find a way to speak to you beyond the quiet whispers of love when I see your things or a photo or something you made. Also time to awaken my inner life from its decades of dozing. I remember a time when ideas and words filled every moment, every crevice. You were so immersed in the depths of consciousness. Can I find my way? Can't ever finish that sentence the way I had planned because I realized that that is really the big question here. Can I find my way? I wonder if you ever imagined or got close to understanding what this moment would be for me, for each of us, and also all of us. There's this pulsing experience of mourning, I guess like everything really, like contractions, intensity, where the presence and the absence seem to merge. It's a kind of hellish, helpless thing. Very hard to put into words. I picture you try to conjure up the image of your smile, your warmth, your antics, your body standing in a familiar way. And it feels good, but then there's this cognitive dissonance that I want to escape, want to jump out of my body from. I can't resolve aliveness and death, and the loss happens all over again. And I pulse between that hell and the strange moments of banal normalcy, or distraction, or just conversation, and then the pain is set aside for a moment. How can you just look at the news? Your son is dead. I feel like writing something funny, like good night, hope this gets to you. Funny and gut-wrenching, and I hope this gets to you. Better fucking get to you. I still can't believe he's not here. I can't believe we went through all this. I can't believe that this is like what I carry around with me every day. And it's always just like right below the surface. And then I can like be laughing and joking with you like 3 seconds ago. And
but that this is also your life.
This
is
the
same life.
And it's like, wow, you can just like be silly and laughing and enjoying parts of life, and that all at the same time you're holding just the deepest trauma and the most tremendous sadness that is completely unfixable.
You had the best curly hair in the curliest best way. And I just cut mine, and now think of you in the mirrors that I walk by, and giggle at your delicious smile, and cry at my own face that now reminds me of the us that would have been. How life is like curly hair, with unexpected spirals and maintenance routines, strands that fall out of place or get just too long to manage. I wouldn't wish this pain on even the villains of the world. This heartache, this starvation, these frozen nights. I look at the bag my now chopped curls lay in and connect to you. Connect to wild nature that helps us entangle with strangers and untangle ourselves over and over again. Nature that nourishes love and tears hearts to pieces. So this is the tragedy. What was once alive only lives in fractured memory, brushing each other's curly hair as midnight lights our room. I'll keep this bag forever. I hope you still have yours. Let me go now.